I really thought more gadget fans understood this, but here we are. I've been talking about camera tech while reviewing phones for years now. And in discussing the Galaxy S20 recently, people seem surprised by some of my commentary. Let's see if we can break this down. The Galaxy S20 and 20 Plus use an interesting array of cameras. There's a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel wide camera, and a 64 megapixel telephoto with a space zoom setting. This is all direct from Samsung marketing and spec sheets, by the way. Samsung calls the 64 megapixel camera a telephoto, which employs a hybrid zoom. We all feel good about this. We're used to the idea of separate camera sensors to capture different fields of view. Samsung has 3, and that means we get wide, standard, and zoom. Cool. We like that. But then we look at the actual optical specs. The ultra wide is a 120-degree field of view. Nice and wide there, we like that. The standard is a 79-degree field of view, and that's somewhere around a 26mm equivalent lens. Good. I'm totally with you. And the telephoto is a 76-degree field of view. That's around a 28mm equivalent lens. Let's demonstrate that. On my mirrorless camera, this is a 26mm shot, and this is a 28mm shot. That 3-degree difference is roughly 1.04 times zoom. The difference in optical performance is about what you would see from holding the phone and taking a deep breath. You remember how angry tech nerds got about the OnePlus 7 Pro's real 3x zoom? But calling this a zoom, totally fine. It's totally fine. It's scientifically the bare minimum Samsung could change to call this a hybrid zoom. A barely perceptible optical difference, and then we crop the resolution to get the rest of the zoom. But we slap a bunch of fancy branding and labeling on it so it sounds more impressive. Samsung playing a reality distortion game that they probably learned from Apple. And I thought gadget fans understood this. The end result, the practical conclusion, tiny little gimped zoom sensors have always been inferior to cropping off of a larger, higher quality sensor. I just did another video comparing crop zoom to last year's tiny sensor zoom, where the only time a smaller zoom can compete is in the best possible lighting conditions. And even then, it's really close. I've been trying to get this idea through for years now. When indoors or in dimmer conditions, your phone has probably been switching to your main sensor and cropping in, and you haven't noticed because losing the resolution and blowing up the image is still better than using the little gimped sensor in most shooting situations. So I figured we all knew that, and that's why we were cool with the S20's weird overlap of 2 cameras that are practically the same. I don't understand what the 12 megapixel sensor really provides over pixel binning from the 64 megapixel sensor. Scientifically, you probably get a little better low light performance, and processing a 12 megapixel image is less taxing. But were we worried about that? That the S20 would not be powerful enough to chew up a 64 megapixel RAW? Well, maybe on the Exynos version. But the more I talk about this, the more people seemed shocked by the idea. Like, this didn't really get through. It makes the phone more expensive than it probably needs to be with such a significant Venn diagram overlap of features between the 2 standard wide-angle cameras. But crop zoom is better than putting on a tiny sensor zoom. So why am I annoyed by people not really grokking this? Because it makes my job talking about tech more difficult. It really is all about me. What have people been complaining about on a phone like the V60? Compromises. Oh no, the compromises. No telephoto camera. Phones need 3 cameras. LG's main camera sensor is roughly a 27mm shooter. It's the exact halfway point between the S20's 12 and 64 megapixel sensors. By roughly 1 degree difference in the field of view, it's the same. The only difference is LG not including another low resolution sensor for normal shots because they don't need to. Take the 64 megapixel sensor data, smash it down to a 16 megapixel still, done! They look great. Would you pay more for a phone just so you had the option of lower resolution stills? And then we get a bunch of tech enthusiasts stomping about in the comments on videos, complaining about things they don't really understand but feel they deserve to have because all they did was look at a spec sheet, and they didn't look that closely. I feel like I've been screaming into the void for years now. We figured this out back in the Nokia 808 and Lumia 1020 days. Crop, zoom, works. Welcome to the party, all of the rest of the smartphone manufacturers out there. All snarkiness aside, I am glad we're all finally getting to the same place Nokia was in 2013. But if you're out there complaining about another company's compromises, at least understand how all this stuff works. And also, consider what it costs to deliver the marketing and the illusion of more features. All right, that's my quick cranky rant. I had to get that off my chest. Like I said, more and more people seemed surprised. So hopefully this clears the air a bit. And you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, and the Facebooks and the Instagrams. And I will catch you all on the next one.